Yes, people, welcome to another edition of your favorite weekly podcast, Back of the Net. Here I am with a special guest today as we do the West Ham versus Arsenal preview. Listen, E20's OTV James, what are you saying, man?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. We won a game the other day, mate. So I'm over the moon. So, I'm enjoying it thoroughly this week. I will say that.
Listen, for those that don't know, listen, you got to go to James's socials. He enjoyed that win for sure. Yeah, we don't want him enjoying this one. I'm not going to win, so let me not say this one. Maybe the next one. But listen, guys, tuning in, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that. And obviously, I'll drop James's details at the end as well. Let's just get into it, man. James, listen, West Ham won last game against Newcastle. Like, what were your thoughts on that? Because no one expected it, man.
I was stunned, mate. I was enjoying it, as you know. Like, I was having a few Jack Daniels and, celebrating a win at St James's Park, where I'm going to be honest, it's a tough place to go. Like, you boys were up the other week and didn't get it was bad. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect anything on Monday night, but to go and get the result that we did, play the way we did, I was happy, mate. Really happy with that. Do you know what I mean? That was something that we hadn't seen all season, and we actually see a glimpse of what Julian Lopetegui's trying to do.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like I didn't even watch the game. As I said, I told you, my dad's a West Ham fan. It was all quiet all day. And then even I got a message. I went, no way did they do it. And Wan-Bissaka scored as well. It tells you everything you need to know about the type of game it was. You know what I mean? But no, my thoughts on West Ham, I feel like I expected a lot more from them this season. I said Champions League. West Ham fans were getting on me in my comments on my video. But I looked at the team you were building and I had all these formations in my head and I went, if you could build a solid back four and a good three in the middle, your front three are going to cause problems for anyone. Somerville, Antonio, Bowen, Kudus when he's back as well. So I feel West Ham have the makers of a good team. They just need someone great to coach them. You know what I mean? And I feel like when West Ham are not getting on with the manager, you always tend to see it. You know what I mean? In the performance on the pitch. So I think this game will be telling. This game will be very telling. And yeah, we'll get into that anyway. But I think that West Ham will be all right come the end of the season. I can see you lot finishing, I think, top 7. I know it sounds a bit mad, but I think you'll get onto a run. You'll get into a run. You ain't got Europe as well. You know,
we need to make this consistent.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? This season, some of the results that we've got have been through luck to a point. And now we've got them. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. We've got to start somewhere. Christmas period coming up is busy. You've got a game every sort of 3 or 4 days, and then you're constantly on the move all the way up to Christmas. But I'm going to be honest. With me, I don't think Lopetegui's the right guy. I think Lopetegui's a guy that, if I'm being truthfully honest, he's a bit out of his depth. I think he looks it to a point, but I'm going to see how he goes in the next sort of 6 games, because these 6 games are quite big, starting with Arsenal. And what I do say is he needs a result against a big side. I don't think he's got one really this season against a big side. I'm not saying Man United ain't big, but at present, Man United was in the mud then. We didn't even deserve to win that to a point. So, yeah.
No, fair point. And just a quick one before we get into the game. Who would you like to see coming? You said you don't want Lopetegui. I can't think of many other managers that could maybe go into West Ham, but who will you realistically want?
I don't know, mate. Do you know what? I'd rather just have a structure and a plan of what they're trying to do. It felt like to me, Matt, that they was trying to gamble on Europe for 2 years. Get Julian Lopetegui in. He's got 2 years to get us into Europe. We're going to fire money at him. And that's what it is. Like, I look at the Brighton model. How Brighton do it, they find these managers out there. If Brighton and Hove Albion can do it, then we can definitely do it. And for me, I just look at this and feel like, you've got Lopetegui here, but is it sort of like, is it like, it feels like it's passed over from one manager in Moyes to another manager that really, I don't think he's going to last that long, if I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to sort of start chanting like sack him. I want him to go, but I'm not going to be saying it all the time. But for me, our problem is the ownership. It always has been.
Nah, yeah, you know what? For those that don't know, listen, James, when I first come on your last year, you mentioned it, Sullivan. You said he is the problem when it comes to, getting certain people in, and Lopetegui's not the right man. I look at people like a Gary O'Neill. I know it sounds crazy, but if you look, he's been struggling at Wolves, but that's because of above they weren't really helping him. But from what he's had, he's built such a great team. We saw the last couple of performances, the likes of Cunha, the other midfielders the other Brazilian midfielders defensively. Like, I think he's going to pick up, and I think that type of manager, if you could get behind him and say, "This is the project, these are the players," I think the players will buy into someone like a Gary O'Neill. Like, definitely. Like, I don't think when I think West Ham, I think go and get that nice British coach and just go for it. Like,
I think whatever it is, though, Matt, they've got to understand the West Ham way of doing things. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard for me because obviously ex-players coming back, it either goes one way, like it either goes great or it goes not so great. Like I look at Arsenal currently right now with Arteta, ex-player, people was a bit iffy about him, but look what he's done so far in his sort of reign. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is with West Ham. For me, it feels like the owners got this head coach in place for the next owner to a point.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Because there is no project at the minute. I don't get what the project is. Is it a 2-year plan? Is it like what do you do after the 2 years? If Julian Lopetegui is on a 2-year deal with an option for a third year, if he gets us into Europe. Now if he finishes 8th and just misses out on Europe, what do you do? Give him another contract? Do you let him go? Like it's such a gamble from the club. It really is.
No, definitely. And just quickly, last one before we get into the lineup. What's your thoughts on Tim Staden? Because I look at sometimes that I think the last was at Newcastle where he was on the coach front seat doing this, and I'm like, I'm trying to think of other sporting directors or whatever that are so involved like that. I don't know whether you see it as a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, let me ask you, right? Was Edu that much involved with Arsenal with Arteta like that?
Nah, he was like you see him at some games, obviously, but he was never like on the coach there forefront. Or I saw one Stedham was on the pitch, like, dude. I'm thinking, what? Like, I get you sign the players, but don't you think it's a bit much for the manager to be seeing that as well?
Timmy Steidden, what can I say about him? There's a few issues I've got with him, Matt, and which one of them is a key one. He's a striker front, like Nicholas Füllkrug.
Oh yes,
for me,
him.
Yeah, like that's what I say. He's like the forgotten man at the minute. And for me, when you've got like you go for Duran, you don't get Duran, and you go for Nicholas Füllkrug, and it hasn't worked out. You're going to be called into question. I think I'm hoping he's going to be a good long-term project sort of guy and get us some really good players and get us up the league. But I feel, I don't like to say it, but I feel like the fan base of West Ham was gaslit last year into thinking that Stein's going to go and pick the manager, everything's going to go through him, and no one really sort of stood back and thought, look at the owner. This is the owner's club. Steiden is an employee, and that's what he is. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, so what do I think of Tim Steiden? I think he gets involved too much. If I'm being honest, I'll be straight. I remember seeing him in the tunnel against Tottenham. You're playing London Derby against them, and you've got your technical director talking to the players before they're going to go out into battle. That's like people say, "Oh, like it's like why are you getting sort of twisted on it?" It's not getting twisted on it, but if you're basically you've got a head coach for a reason, and if he wants to be a head coach, then go and do his badges and become a head coach. Do you know what I mean? I think him going to games is not a problem for me. If he's sitting in the stands or wherever, that's all fine with me. But he says one thing and does another. He basically said that he agreed to Julian Lopetegui being here, then gives him players that ain't working for him. But if you're playing out of the back and you're playing this possession-based style of play, we haven't got a possession-based goalkeeper. We haven't really got possession-based players to a point. And even though I love Jared, he's not a possession-based player. He's a more of a counter-attacking sort of player who can sort of get the ball and get us up the pitch and make things happen from in the attacking third. So the jury's massively out with me. Like, do you know what I'm saying? I see people wanting him out and all that. I won't go that extreme. But I would say that this geezer's got a lot to he's got a lot to do. And the reason, the major thing, as I say about the striker thing, is he arrived 18 months ago, just after Prague, basically. West Ham win the trophy, he arrives, and then we're looking at sort of the future. I would have assumed in a board meeting when he arrived that the first player that West Ham would have needed to replace is Mikel Antonio. And Mikel Antonio at 34 is still our centre forward at the club, and it just doesn't. For me, that issue winds me up because I look at it and think, this no disrespect to Mikel Antonio, right? He's been a legend at West Ham for the last sort of 10 years. He's been there, but he should not be our centre forward in the 2024-25 season. And that's not discrediting him. That's just basically saying that sometimes you've got to let someone aside and bring the young up and coming striker in, and we just haven't done it, if I'm honest.
No, spot on with that. And I'm on you against we're going to go into Amsterdam. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you. There was that whole thing with Mikel Antonio when he's playing right wing the time, then you put him up top. And I've said numerous times that, I just feel like West Ham are a strike away from pushing even further because that whole thing you're shoehorning him back in, it's like, come on, I would really develop in. And I look at that Conference League win, and it reminds me when Spurs got to the final of the Champions League and you thought Pochettino would go again in terms of the window, go and sign players. Now you got to that point, go again. And I feel like West Ham missed a big trick by obviously not signing a striker. But listen, we won't go too deep into it because me and you'll be here for ages, isn't it? God, let's go to the game. Let's go to the game. Big one, 5:30, London Stadium, my borough. What's your thoughts, man? What do you think?
Tough. First thing, Arsenal good side. I respect Arsenal as a club for like the history and everything. I think the Declan Rice thing last year was it was heated between West Ham and Arsenal fans because people. Well, I'll use me as an example. I didn't want to see Declan go, and I've had it very, very hard to see a kid who's grown up West Ham and basically come in and and took us to a new level, but he had to go to better his career. I think this game at the weekend will show me a lot about Julian Lopetegui and West Ham United, because Monday night's game was good result. I can accept that, but this is a different level now, and we need to compete against sides like Arsenal. Yeah, I'm not saying win the game, but at least compete and be in the game to a point. And that's what I expect. I think Saturday's game will show me a lot of if West Ham are starting to turn the corner. And if West Ham look like they're starting to turn the corner, then that's a positive start for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. West Ham are one of them teams. It's like no matter what form you're in, you're just never sure. Like what I mean? They're just like, oh. But for me, I look at it and I feel like if we're at the Emirates, I don't know why it sounds weird saying this, but I feel if we're at Emirates, I would have been a bit more concerned about you lot coming off the back of that win against Newcastle. You did us last season at the Emirates when no one expected it, because you guys do pick up the results. I feel like London Stadium, naturally, are still going to be confident considering what happened last year. Now, I've said that when we have a settled 11, I don't think there's many teams that beat us. Like, I look at our team now. Obviously, fitness concerns. We'll see what happens come tomorrow and whatever. But I feel like with the 11 we've got, I feel like we should have enough. And that's not being cocky. I just don't think West Ham are on our level. Like, I genuinely look at us and I feel Liverpool right now, the pinnacle in the league, as we can see. But I think Arsenal would be second best, in my opinion, to that. And I really think we can run out convincing winners with this one. But again, London derby, and I don't know what lineup West Ham going to go with. Like, do you have any idea of who's going to be playing?
Fabianski, Emerson left back, Wan-Bissaka right back. Kilman will play. Mavropanos or Tadibo. It's going to be one or the other. Like, if Tadibo fit, he plays. If he's not, Mav comes in straight away. The midfield three on Monday was Soler, Paqueta, and Souček. Now, I think that needs to be changed. I think that's too light against Partey, Eldegaard, and Rice. I think we get run straight through the middle of that. So I think we need someone like an Alvarez in there who can sort of get stuck in and rough Arsenal up to a point in that midfield area. Yeah, listen, Deck's a good player, but we need to get into him. Yeah, because he's going to be the one who's sort of dictating the play with Eldegaard and Partey to a point. So for me, Alvarez, Paqueta, and Souček. Yeah, Souček loves a goal against Arsenal. I've noticed that.
Oh,
So
yeah, he does.
I actually wouldn't mind him being a bit more further forward in this game and allowing Paqueta and Alvarez just to sit there and basically dictate or try and dictate the midfield area. I think Paqueta as a 10 isn't working, but Paqueta from deep, he seems to find these passes to the wingers. And up front, Somerville on the left, Crescencio, brilliant signing, absolutely brilliant signing for us.
Fantastic signing, yeah.
And Bowen on the right, and then you got Mikel Antonio up front. Big game for Mickey. He's up against Saliba and Gabriel. That's going to be a tough task, but he just he seems to love a battle, Mickey.
He does.
And hopefully he's on it. If he can hold the ball up like he did on Monday night and allow Crescencio and Bowen and Paqueta to sort of advance with him, then it'll be a good night.
Yeah, and I feel like that's where you guys can kind of do well. I think at Newcastle, you did it as well. I feel Joelinton loves the battle, the midfielders that they've got Bruno, but you guys went into them and you did that throughout the whole game. Whether you can do that, obviously, against Arsenal, I think the difference between Newcastle and Arsenal, yes, there's physicality, but I don't think Newcastle have the technical ability in terms of getting out of areas. You know what I mean? Like, you might press, I don't know, Saliba or whoever, but ping, 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 next minute Saka's got it. So I think that's, so I feel like that's a defense we could maybe get at. Midfield's very important. Very, very important. I feel like you said, I think if Alvarez plays, that'll make a big difference. Excuse me. But yeah, Mikel Antonio, all depends, because like you said, he likes a battle. But I've seen Arsenal did well recently against Gyökeres from Sporting. I'm not saying he's as strong as Antonio, but that physical type of battle. So I think we'll be all right. I think we're going to go same 11. I think Partey will be there, so Rice and Odegaard up front, Saka, Martinelli and Havertz. And I think Martinelli's just scored in his last couple, so I think we're going to see a bit more confidence from him. And I genuinely, people are going to be clipping me, but I genuinely don't see any way West Ham can beat us. Like, do you know what, James? Like, last year we played you at Emirates, that one where you beat us 2-0. I had my doubts. I said, do you know what? West Ham Emirates has happened before. It's Christmas time. I think it was just after Christmas, we were 28th. And I was like, yeah. And when it happened, I went, you know what? I felt it. But I can't see it. I genuinely can't see it. I know they're coming off a positive result, but I think that 11 we've got beats a lot of teams, like genuinely. So, yeah.
I think what it is that you got the right to be confident. Like, you've just gone to Sporting and smashed them in their own gaff. It's not the win with me; it's the performance more than anything. Well, would I love to beat Arsenal? Absolutely, but I need to see a similar performance to the Newcastle game, and that would be a start. Do you know what I mean? Listen, if we get beaten by Arsenal, then so be it. But I don't know why. I just feel this is a draw. Like, for me, it just feels like a draw to me. I feel like West Ham will turn up in this game. Right, they will, because Bowen will get them up for it. Alvarez coming back is big, even though people are a bit mixed on Alvarez. I think he's another person that we need in that sort of midfield area. I'll be very shocked if West Ham go with the same three in midfield, even though they done well. I'll be very shocked. But it's a 5:30 game. Everyone will be up for it. It's the end of the month. Everyone's going to be paid. So everyone's going to be out enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
It just feels like, to me, West Ham, I hope West Ham can turn a corner. And if that means getting a point, West Ham winning the game, I can't see it at all. I agree with you. Like, I can't see West Ham beating Arsenal, especially the way that West Ham have been. Yeah. But I can definitely see us getting a point. Like, every time when we play Man City at the LS, we give them a really good game. Even though, and don't get me wrong, Arsenal will have chances against us. If we play this high line, they're going to get chances. It's just whether or not they score first. If they score early, then your prediction will come true, because I think we will collapse. But if we can get to, say, the 70th minute and we're still in the game, and when I say still in the game, I mean, like, even if we're 2-1 down or 1-0 down, I think West Ham could get a draw at the game.
That's fair, because you do have the quality to kind of do that, like the Bowen up front, Somerville, and Antonio obviously is up there, can easily get a goal, and that's why I'm just hoping Arsenal kind of blow West Ham out of the water, like first half, go in 2-0 up, and you kind of have to change up. But I'm basing it on, I saw the United game before. You allow United so many chances. Like if United were clinical, 4 or 5, easy. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of basing it on that. And
the one thing I will say, let's just say this, Matt. One thing I will say is that I don't think West Ham are going to go toe to toe with Arsenal. I think Arsenal, right. And one thing I will say about West Ham is they know how to do a low block, and they do. If West Ham, because what you said about Lisbon, Lisbon went toe to toe with Arsenal, and then they got done. Yeah, I don't think West Ham are going to be. I'll be very shocked if West Ham try and go for against Arsenal, right? Because if we do, then we are going to get done. But the mid to low block is something West Ham know at the back of their hand. Yeah, then some of them players know how to do a low block, sit there deep, and then soak up the pressure, allow Arsenal to have the ball in wide areas, and just keep pushing Arsenal wide. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and if we can stop the supply coming in, then we've got half a chance.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just think, you know what is, I think having Odegaard is absolutely massive because the positions he picks up, it's like, if you can get in between the midfield and the defense, that's when the passes are coming off. And we know what Saka does, isn't it? Like Saka, you know, but I think you mentioned before we spoke earlier and you said possibly switch them around and put one beside. And I can see something like that happening. Maybe not at the start of the game. I think Lopetegui might see how it goes and then, you know, and then switch up from there. So, listen, it's going to be a good game regardless. I'm sure my dad will be updating me, letting me know what's going on. And I just pray I can't have it because, guys, last year when West Ham beat us, I had to go to James's channel and the comments absolutely got me. But I had to beat it, innit? I had to show up as you do as a fan, you know what I mean? But, yeah, so just to finalize, James, so you're saying draw? We say
I'll go for draw.
Score-wise, 1-1?
I'm going to go 2-2. I think West Ham need to score first in this game. I think if we don't score first in this game, your prediction will become valid because then West Ham will have to come out and then that's where Arsenal just destroy us then. But if we score first, then it's game on because then Arsenal will be up in the ante. Arsenal will score. I'll be very shocked if West Ham don't score. Like, I'll be honest with you. We scored against City. We scored against United. We can score goals. So, yeah, 2-2 for me.
Oh, okay. For me, West Ham fans, be kind, yeah? Don't clip me. I think 4-0 Arsenal. I think, I know what you're saying. I think West Ham are quality. I just have faith with the current defence. Like, I even look at the goal that Sporting scored the other day, which was just dumb from a corner. The guy kicked it in. But I think we've got enough to possibly keep a clean sheet and run out convincing winners, you know. I say that with this smile, but please. Oh, God, Saturday could be something, honestly. But I'm sticking with it. 4-0 Arsenal. James has said 2-2. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments, you know, and all of that. But listen, James, thanks for coming on. James, tell the people where they can find you as well, man.
If you want light entertainment, E20 Zone TV. Player ratings, afterthought, straight after the game. And yeah, come over and check us out on that channel there.
There we go. Listen, guys, make sure you check him out. West Ham fan. You know, only get the best West Ham fans on there, you know. So yeah, check out James. Obviously myself, BoTNPodcast. See me Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'm trying it all. But listen, YouTube, let's get the subscribers up. We'll road to 500 on YouTube. Come on, guys. Help me out here. But no, thanks for coming on, James. I'm sure we'll talk to you after the game. Hopefully, I'm here sipping, you know, enjoying myself. And not too down in the dumps, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Big game Saturday, 5:30, West Ham Arsenal. We'll be there. It's been a pleasure.
Take care.
Peace.